Hello, hello, hello. My name is Joe.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is Double Trouble Feature.
Ooh!
Ooh, that one got a little heat to it. That
Yeah.
pop on it. You used your lips with that one, I could tell.
Hey, have you seen the TikTok trends of like, how do you make a gun noise?
Yes, I have. And the machine gun specifically.
Yes.
Because, girl, I didn't realize nobody could do that. Brrr, like,
Brrr. All my life.
and
All my life.
And honestly, that's probably where, because I remember when I took Spanish class in third grade, nobody could roll your R's. Nobody could roll their R's. And you're just sitting, and I'm just sitting there like, it's not that hard. It's just like a machine gun.
I didn't know that was a trait. Like some people literally can't.
Guess we're lucky.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to get me on that one.
Hey, good shit. But anyway, we got a great show for you guys. This is Double Trouble Features, of course. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you listen to our podcast, and of course on YouTube. Joe, what do we got for today, man?
Well, we are going to be getting into the streaming of it all. The streaming wars are still going strong. However, there have been factions just as big on the House of the Dragon, which we will also be talking about later on today.
Cannot wait.
Y'all, it got so good. We're also going to be talking about some of the movies we've been seeing, some of these great summer blockbusters coming out. We're going to be seeing some of these fantastic television shows. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of culture happening at the moment, I would say.
There is.
There's a lot going on within the streaming world and television in general, and I'm just excited to get into it.
Summer of 2024 is going to be a good one.
Or it'll kill us.
That's fall. All right. So by now, we all watch TV. And a little old company called Netflix.
Small indie company.
Never heard of them. Actually, okay, real question. Did you use like the Netflix box?
So
like when they used to deliver?
Yes, I did. I had because back in the day, I had the combo, the like $15 a month, like you got your DVDs, but then you also got streaming on like my Wii. I paid for it. Like my parents were like, if you want that, you can go get it yourself.
Really?
I was like 16, and so, but a lot of movies weren't on streaming at the time.
No,
so
there was nothing on streaming.
So I was, but with DVDs there was everything, so you could still get it. However, you did have to wait, and if you wanted a TV show, you're getting one DVD with 4 episodes on it, and then you got to send it back and wait for the next DVD with 4 episodes on it. You all don't know how lucky you have it.
Yeah, no, so I think I only used Netflix one time for DVDs, but the red box that was at, gas stations, McDonald's,
Redbox.
it was still out. So I was like, I'd rather much just do that than do the Netflix. I did GameFly though, which is basically Netflix but for video games. So shout out to GameFly, by the way. I don't know if they still exist or not. But we're going to talk about the state of streaming. What's going on? What's happening? Who do we like? Who's still good? And who's your king, Joe? Who is on top?
This is going to be like really controversial. It would have been Max if Max didn't just gut itself for Discovery. Yeah. Because that's the thing. For a really long time, it used to be Max. I was Max through and through. I was like, I love Max. Everything's Max. Great Max. I was like a Max HBO Go proselytizer.
Oh my. Okay, first of all, worst app. It was so bad.
It's still not great.
Like you would think by now they would make their apps and their interface so much better.
Well,
and it's so bad.
Just even like trying to go to like movies, I would like go to the side, but no, you have to go all the way back up to the top of the page to switch between movies, TV, whatever. It's not great. Like that I didn't care about. For me, it was the programming, but like HBO's programming, all the shows that I really were like into, except for like House of the Dragon. What do we got? What do we got going on HBO? Like
MILF Manor. We got MILF Manor.
Exactly. And like and that's the thing, is nothing but true crime and this. And so my mom is living because she's like, well, now I can get rid of my Discovery Plus thing. And I'm like, good for you, Mom. I'm dying. I need movies. I need television.
They still have movies though. Like Dune just came out
but they took a lot off.
Yes, no, facts. I think with the merge of Discovery and Warner Brothers, I think that's what I think we got an increase in for casual people, people who love Food Network, TLC, and stuff like that. But then you got like a decrease in people who are like true like HBO stans, who love that like those dramas because like I feel like we haven't got like that banger of a show until now. I mean, it's the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Got the final season of Barry.
That's what I'm saying. A lot's wrapping up.
Yes.
And so like, and I don't even really watch those shows. So like, but I do know that, but like a lot's wrapping up. And like, I'm very concerned about the future of Max because honestly, I realize I'm not a Max stan. I was an HBO fan. I like,
100%.
I like HBO.
100%.
I want home box office. I need it to be at least separated. I don't need to see I don't get onto Max for my 600-pound life. I'm sure there are people who do. I think it needs to be almost kind of like how Disney Plus has it separated out a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing that's confusing, so like the Penguin just came out. Its trailer looks fantastic. Cannot wait when that comes out. But it says Max Original. And then and then House of Dragon is an HBO original. Which is just confusing at this point because Max was out when House of Dragons came out. So I'm just like, what are we like? You're confusing me with this and that. So
well, and to take that, I mentioned Disney Plus and how I like how it keeps it separate. But however, do you remember when we were supposed to get a Lizzie McGuire reboot and they stopped it because it was too adult for Disney Plus, and now
we got Shogun.
The 7 Saw films are on Disney Plus.
Hell yes. Hey, my favorite tweet was, I cannot wait for the next Kingdom Hearts is going to go crazy.
I did see that, and I was like, yes. But no, it's just like it just feels like we're in a holding pattern right now. That's why right now, and why I said Peacock, because
Peacock's your number one.
Peacock is my number one because they are putting out pretty recent movies. They're putting out some weird movies too. They're also putting out a ton of great reality TV programming. You can get anything on there. Below Deck Med. You could get any of the Below Decks, any of the Real Housewives, any of the Vanderpumps, you can get all of that over on Peacock. And I'm not trying to be like a Peacock. I didn't think this would ever happen, but Max has just dropped the ball so hard. I'm like, I'm watching a lot of Peacock lately.
But see, I'm gonna kind of push back on that a little bit because you're talking about I need a bunch of like dramas. What are those great shows that are for HBO? And Peacock really doesn't have like yes, they have good reality TV shows, but like you can say that Max has good reality TV shows. Your 600-pound life, maybe not for you.
Sure.
The cooking shows, maybe not for you.
But there's cooking shows on Peacock.
There's Top Chef.
Top
Chef.
Yeah.
Top Chef. Fantastic. Watching that.
See, you're.
but that's it. Like there's nothing that's like really standing out of Peacock, I would say. You got all your basic reality TV shows, but nothing that's like, oh no, I have to get Peacock in order to watch this.
Fair enough, but for HBO, I would say for right now, that's only House of the Dragon.
And guess what? I would easily subscribe again for House of Dragons.
Okay.
If I lost my Peacock membership right now, would not be that upset.
Oh, I would be.
Yeah. But Disney Plus also wouldn't. Disney Plus doesn't have enough,
which is crazy because they have Disney Plus.
But I think that we complained enough. Like I think we told them, hey, we got too many Marvel shows.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we're going to slow down. Then we're like, hey, we got too many Star Wars bullshit. All right, we're going to try to slow down on that. But when those are really your only like two big things that keep people coming back. They don't really have anything. So that's why they had to, hey, we're merging with Hulu because Hulu is my number one. Hulu has everything.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
Because Hulu has anything that's on Fox that's coming out next day. It has FX. So any of your reality TV shows is usually on Hulu. You have your dramas. You have your great shows. Has a ton of movies. I think it has the weakest movie catalog out of all of them, to be honest. But I watch Hulu on the daily.
I mean, I watch all of them on the daily. That's kind of why we're here.
Yeah, that is why we're here. But going back to, what's the worst streaming service?
Oh,
we both know it. We both know it. All right, on three.
Oh, I don't know.
Say it. Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna.
Wait, what?
Don't get me started. Like in terms of, hold on.
All right, just say it. Just say what's your worst?
Prime.
Prime?
No, I'm kidding.
I was shocked actually.
Just because the ads. Fuck you.
I pay for the ads. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
I gave them that $3. I don't want to, but
I don't exactly. That's why it's the worst though, because of those fucking ads. I don't know what you're going to say. Like
we literally just talked about it. MGM.
Oh my God. No, that's not a streaming site. That is, I don't know what that is. I could not tell you what it is. It pisses me off that things are like MGM Plus exclusives.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you. Like, what do you mean an MGM? Who owns MGM?
I really don't know.
Like, I don't even.
It's the Lion. Like,
yes.
There goes Roar.
Yes. Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Yes.
Yeah. Don't know who owns them. I would think it's. No, it's not Comcast. I don't think Comcast.
I thought it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know
but fuck them.
We'll Google it and find out later.
Yes.
But no, like, it doesn't make any sense why MGM is its own separate thing.
Yeah, no.
And especially when, like, if Disney, Hulu, and ESPN can all go jerk each other off, like, just shove MGM up there.
Yeah.
Like.
And speaking of everybody jerking each other off, we're now at a point where everybody is jerking each other off now, because we're starting to realize, hey, it's hard to have your own streaming service that people are willing to pay for. Paramount actually just came out that they're trying to merge with Warner Brother Discovery. Because what's on Paramount? Like, what's on Paramount? If you have to think, that's already a sign.
Anything Nickelodeon.
It's all CBS. Yeah, it's all CBS.
CBS. Yeah. Oh, Criminal Minds Evolution. I watched that on Paramount Plus. I also watched the fuck out of Yellowstone. So
true. But that's like their
Wait, but I think that was on Peacock for some reason. That
was. No, Yellowstone is
Yellowstone's
on
Peacock. See? Here. Found it.
Okay. But Netflix is trying to bundle with other platforms.
Yeah.
Through the Verizon, you get Netflix and Apple TV.
I thought Netflix and Apple, that was the thing.
Netflix, because Apple... Okay, Apple has great shows. I think their marketing is actually terrible for their shows, but also it's just like not enough.
For me, the problem with Apple TV Plus, they treat it as like a side project. It's like, we build the top leading computers and like for consumer
we're worth
use.
$1 trillion.
We sell the best software, the best blah blah blah, all this, and then we also make TV shows every now and then. And you're lucky we do it because they are good.
Yeah, like, no, they are good.
Great cast, great writing, great production.
That's the thing. They put money into
they
it.
really do. And if you've never seen, I think it's The Morning Show. I love The Morning Show.
But you have The Morning Show. You have Ted Lasso. You have Shrinking. You have oh my God,
Foundation is really good. It's a great sci-fi.
This is Surveillance. Yeah, Surveillance. You have Dark Matter, which I just talked about. They have great shows. Silo. I think the reason why Apple TV hasn't like burst through is because they don't have that daily show to watch.
Yeah.
They don't have that reality TV show or just anything for like a casual who wants to turn their brain off to watch.
And a lot of them are limited series.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was shocked that we got a third series of the morning show. Like the fact that they got all those famous people continuously coming back because
what else is Jennifer Aniston doing?
I mean, I don't know, commercials.
Exactly. Uber Eats.
I mean, but I'm just one of those bitches, like I will watch anything that Jennifer Aniston is in.
Yeah, no, understandable. So tell us, what's your favorite streaming service? What did we not mention? Like Starz, Showtime.
Paramount Plus did all that Showtime stuff. They
they merged.
They literally axed the Showtime app.
Yeah, they merged
and just put it all into one. So they got that going for them, I guess.
Yeah, but what are you watching on Showtime?
Again, but everyone's just like fully, girl, what am I not watching on Showtime?
Anyway.
I'll tell you. Alrighty, well, we're going to get into some movies that we've seen this week. Jordan, what'd you see?
I like a good kids movie. I actually really do. I love a good animated movie that still doesn't feel like super for kids, you know?
Like it's not talking down to you.
Yeah, it's not Paw Patrol, you know? Those movies I hate.
A-Cab.
But I saw Inside Out too, and I loved the first one. First one was top tier. Like I would probably rate it top 5 Pixar movie.
Damn. Well, I mean,
would you?
I haven't seen. You mean the
new? No, the first one. The first one.
The first one? Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I would put it probably top 5 Pixar movie. And shout out to Pixar. You guys have been my childhood. Like since Toy Story. You guys have been putting out consistently good movies. Cars 2 didn't happen. We're just going to pretend like it didn't happen.
I'm not going to lie. I've never seen The Good Dinosaur just because I heard it's so bad.
It's not terrible.
Okay.
It's not. It really isn't. It's not the best. I would say it's probably a bottom tier movie of Pixar, but it's not a terrible movie.
Worth a like watch now.
Yeah, it's worth you know what? I got nothing else to watch. Let me get it high as hell and just go to Dinosaur Land. Yeah, that's you're like, that kind of sounds fun.
I was like, all right, twist my nipples.
But anyway, so as you guys should probably know from watching any of the trailers, basically all it is your girl's growing up. All the little emotions, joy has been running the entire place, and it's been great. And all of a sudden, she finally is hitting puberty. And so all these white blood cells go in and break down the entire like command area where they command.
Oh my.
They're like, what the hell is going on? And there's like, we got to make room for everybody else. And he's like, who's everybody else? And then you have our 4 new characters. You have Envy. You have Anxiety. You have Embarrass. And it is Ennui. Yes. And I just want to say, I wish I got more from Envy. Basically, she was just Anxiety sidekick the whole time. Ennui had his little, you know, one-liners that was really great, and Embarrassment was kind of a background character, but was vital for, you know, the end. But Anxiety, it just made sense.
Yeah,
it fits. It fits where, like, as you're growing up, you start to care about everything, and you start to, like, how can I do this, make sure this, and then, like, start to spiral out on some things. And at first, the emotions try to work together, you know, joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and anger. They all try to work together with the other ones, but Anxiety was like, hell no, this ain't going to work. And kicks them out. And so basically what they had to do was just go find the journey to, like, who is she? And I thought it was actually very beautiful. I would give this movie probably a solid 7. It's a good movie. Didn't make me feel or cry like as much as the first one. But what they did was they did a lot of creative new things of, like, how to bring back, like, Imagination Land when you're older instead of, like, when you're a child. The things that you really care about, but also, like, how to discover who you are. Because the whole time Joy's been in control, and like the premise is there's been a lot of memories or bad things that's happened that she just are embarrassing things or random things that if Joy doesn't like it, she kicks it to the back of her head.
That's the healthy thing to do, right?
Exactly. And so at the core, she believes that she is a good person. And then what happens is anxiety starts to take over and change the core of who she is. And basically the moral of the theme is, hey, everybody has multiple emotions. And so it's just her trying to like deal with all those emotions, trying to go back and forth, but also showing that there's less of joy when you get older because you have so many more emotions, which is very depressing. I was like, the whole time during the movie, I was just like, fuck, like getting older sucks.
Yeah. But I mean, when we were out on that boat, I was like, I think this is the first time I felt genuine joy in a long time.
Yes.
Like you're just happy.
Yeah, one of the so like if you remember like from the mom and dad, they have their own.
Oh good, the hot dad is still in it. Good.
The mom's anxiety comes out and she's like kind of worrying and stuff like that. She's like, "Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Take care." And then cuz basically the girl goes to like on a weekend trip to hockey camp. And she discovers her best friends aren't going to the same high school as her.
Oh.
And that's what really starts causing that anxiety and stuff like that. So she has to make friends with the new hockey team, but also try to balance of keeping the old friends. So it's kind of like that dilemma. And like I think one of the funniest moments of the whole entire thing is at the very end. They go back home. The mom's like, "So how would you do?" And she was like, nothing. And then the mom's anxiety is like, "What do you mean you went the whole 3 days and didn't do anything?" And I was like, that's such a mom answer. And then the dad's like, "She was gone for 3 days. And all I did was just clean the house." And then everybody else in the dad's like, "Yep." Kicked up their feet and just started watching the game again. I was like, man, that's me now.
Just shutting it off, just shutting off the brain. What's it like?
But overall, good movie. Enjoyable. Again, Amy Poehler as Joy is fantastic. I think she does a great job.
I saw her say to pour one out for Bing Bong because he does not make a return.
He doesn't. And again, that really hit.
Yeah.
That definitely hit.
I mean, that was the death of childhood, really. When did your Bing Bong die?
Oh my God. I had a reindeer. A little embarrassing.
Like an imaginary friend?
No, I actually had a stuffed animal, reindeer. His name was Ricky. And
Ricky?
Ricky
the reindeer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I played with Ricky all the way up until like high school. By like middle school and like 5th grade, I wasn't really playing with him as much, but like he was always there.
He's just around.
Then I started seeing like he got a rip and stuff, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's my Bing Bong. When I stopped playing with him and everything like that, that's when my childhood died. When's yours?
I'm trying to think. I played with a lot of like action figures and stuff. I didn't have
same.
I wasn't like super big into like I didn't have like a best friend animal. I'd say the closest was probably this cat, but like I remember this cat Precious, but I stopped taking her places when I was like 6.
Oh, I didn't take Ricky anywhere.
No.
I was never that child.
Okay.
The thing is, when you're an only child, I need a best friend.
Fair.
Yeah. And Ricky was like, he's a solid like 3 feet tall.
I don't know. For me, it kind of was like the transition from like playing with toys to like video games. And I'd say that happened around like 12, 13.
Okay.
Because then you could just be like, well, I'm just playing Pokemon. I'm not playing with Pokemon.
Yeah. No. Playing with action figures for losers.
God.
Yeah. But me collecting all 100 and oh my God, is it 57? How many Pokemon is there in the original one?
It's just, well, technically 151. They always say 150 Pokemon and all that thing.
Okay. But yeah, no, highly recommend go see Inside Out 2 or catch it when it comes on to
Disney Plus. Hopefully soon, even though it won't.
It won't. I have a question, Joe. So if you were trapped in a box and somebody's looking at you, what dance move would you do in front of them? I know you're dancing at least at some point.
Probably just shaking my bare ass up to the glass, just twerking on it.
Yeah, there's just no way I'm not mooning somebody.
Yeah, like
no way.
I'm just gonna fully spread it and push it all the way in. You're gonna see everything. If you're gonna put me in a box and watch me, I'm gonna give you a show.
Yeah, like. Yeah, no. If I'm trapped, I'm trapped, yeah, you're seeing ass.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, yeah, no.
Yeah. So what movie did you watch, man?
This week, I went and saw a movie that I was very excited about, called The Watchers, starring Dakota Fanning, and it's
an M. Night.
It's movie. An M. Night Shyamalan movie, yes. And M. Night Shyamalan is always super hit or miss. I think he played it a little safe with this one. And that's a good thing.
Hit or miss.
I think a lot of people are not gonna like this movie.
Really?
I think that it gets into a little. Here's the thing. It's exactly what I thought it was. Like what the monsters are in that movie. So hold on, let's get into it a little bit.
All right.
So what happens is you find this girl, Dakota Fanning, and she is working for this pet store, and the pet store owner needs her to like run an errand, and this errand is taking this bird over to, I want to say Glasgow. They're all in Ireland. So she's like, that's fine. I can take it. It's just the 15th anniversary of my mom's death, and I'm really depressed. And she's like, and he's like, well, maybe it'll be good for you to get out and see some of the Irish countryside.
Asshole boss.
So he's like, I know it's like a rough day, but like, and he's like, and also stop vaping in the store. The pets don't like it. I was like, wow.
Facts.
I was like, we're just getting like all into this. So she gets the bird. We start to learn a little bit more about her, why her mom died, how she feels about it. She's very sad about it, obviously, for very like complex reasons. And you see her like getting phone calls from her sister being like, hey, mom's memorial, I guess you're just not coming, like this kind of stuff. So you can see that she's like kind of an outsider and kind of feeling alone in herself. Ever since her mom died, it's been 15 years. And even her sister was like, it's been 15 years and you need to get over it. And like,
damn, that's cold.
Yeah, it kind of was, and I was like, but also like if my mom died now and 15 years ago my sister was like still acting like an invalid, I would probably say the same thing to her.
Man,
I'm just saying.
I guess fuck people's trauma.
No, right. I guess, but because like eventually I was like, but you can tell that she's still going through it. So she's going through the woods and all this stuff. All of a sudden, all the electronics in her car stop working. Her GPS isn't working. The car just shuts down, and she's got this fucking bird in a cage that she has to like deal with. So she gets out of the car, which is always what you should do in this scenario, in the middle of the woods in nowhere, Ireland. Gets out of the car, starts just she's like, okay, nobody's here. I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna have to go try and find someone. Starts walking, nobody there. She's like, okay, I guess I'll just go back to the car. Starts walking back to the car and walking back to the car and walking back to the car and walking back to the car. Yep. Car's not there. She realizes this, gets freaked out, obviously, and starts looking for people. She's looking, she's scared, she's looking, she's scared. Finally, she comes across this white-haired woman, and she's like, oh, okay, what is this? And just starts following her. The woman is kind of like running away. Like it's getting darker. We don't really know what's going on. And you just see this white-haired woman running through the woods and Dakota Fanning chasing with a bird cage. She's still got the bird. She keeps the bird the whole time. I just want to be very clear. In every scene you see Dakota Fanning in, the bird is in the cage with her.
All right. Maybe a slight spoiler. Does the bird survive? Is the bird at the end?
Yes.
Okay. That bird really is. That bird really is there.
Yeah. So it goes through all of that. They actually, it's part of the storyline. Okay. But that I won't get into. That does kind of start to get a little spoily. But so she goes in and the lady literally says, if you want to live, you need to get here in 5, 4. This bitch is running with the bird cage. Runs in, she ends up in this weird little room, and the woman shuts the door behind her. Bolt, concrete room, some furniture here and there, a TV in the corner, more old school, this kind of stuff, and a big mirror. A huge mirror. And remember, it just got dark. So Dakota Fanning doesn't know what's going on. And they're like, okay, we need to get in line. We need to get in order. She's like, what's going on? There's 3 people in this room. There's the white-haired woman, like I said. She's a professor. And then 2 other people who got lost in the woods who are not related to each other, a woman and a man. I don't remember their names. They're not really that important.
It's a black woman, isn't it?
Yes. And so basically a lot of this movie is them trying to understand what kind of situation they are in. The white-haired woman seems to know more than everyone else. But she's like older, so everyone's just kind of like down with it. But Dakota Fanning is not. So they like pull her up and they're like, okay, stand in front of the mirror. And then you hear all this like rustling and noises and all this stuff. And she goes, what is that? And they're like, it's applause. They're clapping for you. And she was like, who? And they go, the Watchers. So as the movie title suggests,
good.
Dakota Fanning is now trapped in this scenario with the Watchers, and what they've found is they like are only able to come out at night. So they can't come out during the day. So there's a list of rules that they have to follow. It's like don't ever go outside of the box after dark. We never open the box after dark. Don't go anywhere near the burrows because that's like where they live and all that stuff. And then make sure that you are like all of you are lined up ready to go when it's time to come watch them. And so their whole thing is they like to observe. So the second I saw the trailer, I knew exactly what this is gonna be. I knew exactly what the monsters are. So I walked into it knowing that and still having that in my head.
They're gnomes.
No, but not too far off.
Oh shit! I was just kidding too.
No, they're not gnomes.
I know.
But like it's exactly.
I'm gonna guess later.
Yeah, but it's exactly what I thought it was. There was a little bit more lore and mystery and why these creatures were here added in, which did add a little fun to it and a little whimsy and a little scary. But it never like the thing is with most M. Night Shyamalan movies, it's all about what you don't see. It's all about like building that anticipation and like getting to the monster. Cause you remember like in Signs,
the
alien, like you only see it for like a half second and it takes forever. It's all the little nails and the creepy crawling and the rustling in the woods.
Was the payoff worth it?
I can't tell. I really liked it. I think the movie was really good. I think it's a strong, like, atmospheric horror movie. Nothing like the problem is nothing caught me off guard except for one thing, which I do think there was one good twist in it, but I'm curious to what other people think about it, a good twist. So if you've seen this movie and you know which twist I'm talking about, not the first one, the second one, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because like I'm honestly having a hard time with this one.
What would you rate it?
I'd rate it like a good 6.5. I don't think it blew me away, but it wasn't bad by any means. I did enjoy it, and it was creepy, and it had a good story, but
probably would never watch it again though.
I think I would watch it again. Okay. So like I would watch it again, but I think a lot of people would watch it once and then never again.
Okay.
So like I said, but we know this. I like bad things. I like bad TVs and bad movie. I enjoy it thoroughly. So like that's kind of where I'm at. Is like I can't tell if this was good or not because honestly, I've seen no one talk about it at all. Like nobody gives a fuck because we get too busy with House of the Dragon and other things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I really like this movie. If you like atmospheric horror, if you like Dakota Fanning, I like old school M. Night Shyamalan, where it's like slowly builds up, you will like this movie. If you do not like M. Night Shyamalan, if you do not like horror, you will not like this movie. It's kind of as simple as that.
Okay. So Joe, do you know one streaming service we didn't talk about?
I do know one that we didn't talk about, and that is AMC Plus.
Would you subscribe to AMC Plus?
I have in the past. I don't know if I would again. Only for this one show I'm going to talk about now is the only reason I've ever had AMC Plus. And we'll get into it.
Yeah. So what is it?
So the show I'm talking about is Interview with a Vampire. It is I want to say requel of the original Interview with the Vampire movie based off of Anne Rice's novels. This one is kind of fun. So what it is this TV show is based off the premise that Louis de Pointe-Lac, who was played by Brad Pitt in the original movie, now played by the guy who played Grey Worm in Game of Thrones, and he is so hot.
Does he have a penis in this one?
Yes, he does.
Okay,
and he uses it, let me tell you. So Louis de Pointe-Lac, he's the main character. He's the one who's like sad about being a vampire, all of this fun stuff. And the original premise of the movie was this man, this like young reporter, just like hanging out. He doesn't realize what he's like gotten himself into. And it's this vampire who wants to tell him his life story. This is like 30 years later. The journalist is like famous, almost like Anthony Bourdain level journalism. And he wants to write a book. Who reaches out? Louis de Pointe-Lac. And this man basically says, hey, just so you know, when we hung out back in the 70s, everything I told you was a fucking lie. None of it was true. Here's the actual story.
So wait. So this is in the same universe?
Yes.
Okay, just 30 years ahead.
Yes.
Interesting, because I would think if you tell somebody, hey, I'm a vampire, and he becomes famous and people believe that.
But who's going to believe you?
We would try to kill these vampires. No.
So he doesn't get like famous off of him like in the vampire interview. Like he like that's not like that's kind of like his jumping off point as a journalist. But then he becomes like very heavy into it. So the premise of the show is basically another Interview with the Vampire, but like the real Interview with the Vampire.
Okay.
So basically, Louis got him, and he was like, just so you know, I lied about a lot, even the time frames. So here's the real story. So they go back, and it's not set in the 1700s. It's actually set in like the early 1900s. And so you see, and another important fact is in this one, Louis is a black man. So we see a lot more in different aspects of their life. They're still in New Orleans. It's more of like the Roaring 20s. And we see how the vampire Lestat comes in. And he is this beautiful, gorgeous. I don't really normally go for blonde hair and blue eyes, but this man is ethereally beautiful. And I cannot describe it enough. The big thing between this whole thing is it does cross the line. I feel like Anne Rice was finally like, it's 2020, whatever the year the first season came out. It's 2020, the year the first season came out. I can finally let them be gay. Because the thing about Interview with the Vampire is there's always a little bit gay. There was always that kind of underlying is these two men raising this girl together and they're just sucking people all the time. Like it always had undertones of homoeroticism. This is not an undertone. This is not an overtone. They are fucking. And it is fantastic. And so the reason I bring it up is because season 1 is already come and gone, but season 2 is going strong. There's about 3, 4, maybe 5 episodes I think 5 at this point. And it's showing Louis and Claudia's life in Paris. But you're also getting a lot of back and forth with modern times and what is true. Is he a reliable narrator? Is he not? Does he even remember? And then even more so, we have the journalist who was there, but he's starting to realize maybe his memories got fucked with a little. And what's the answer? And what is this? And then also there's like some kind of like government conspiracy going on the side that they're trying to like get in with him. It starts getting pretty crazy. It is on AMC Plus. I understand that's crazy. If you find a friend with a cable subscription, you can watch it through that on the AMC app. Oh,
really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So that's what I do. I have access to a cable subscription, and I use the AMC app. There are ads.
You make it seem like you're like pristine.
That's the give and that's the give and take. But this show, it's fun, it's bloody, it's sexy. There's a whole lot of like, I don't know what's going on. And I don't know if this, but what's crazy is like, you do know because you watch the original movie and it does follow the basic plot points of the original movie. His whole thing in this is like, I gave you most of the truth. I embellished a little here with the years and this and that to give you a more narrative story. But he's like, this is the actual of it all. And he's trying to, so what this is him writing a book about the vampires and about all of this. But he calls these motherfuckers out because sometimes, like, even in the story, he's like, and then on the wall was a painting of Lestat. And he goes, this is a fucking telenovela. You're telling me that you went all the way to Paris, didn't know who this motherfucker was, and there's a painting on the wall of this motherfucker. Like, shut up. Like, he starts calling the vampires out a little on their bullshit and the fact that they're unreliable narrators. And he's like, I'm just trying to do my job. And you all won't let me. So
you called me.
Exactly. No, exactly. And so I just can't. Now I'm getting worked up about it.
So what would you rate it?
I would rate it a good 8. If you don't like gay stuff, a 7, because you can get through it. It's violent. You see a lot of blood and a lot of sex, and it's great.
Oh, that's what everybody wants.
And Anne Rice, you're doing the Lord's work. Keep it up. All right. So speaking of magic and everything, I want to hear your true thoughts on this show because I've seen this show, and I'm just going to sit here and listen for a minute. And I really want to hear your thoughts on the show, Disney Plus original Acolyte. It's getting a lot of heat. I want to see.
If I had to rate the show right now, I've only watched the first 3 episodes. I would give it a solid 5.5.
That's better than I thought that you were going to say.
To be honest. It's not like a terrible show or anything. To be honest, I just think it's a tad boring. But I get all the stuff that's out there. I understand, like, some people are like, oh, they're so woke and stuff like that. We got to make a whole entire planet full of women, and that's the only thing that can happen. I hate the premise of like people in Star Wars that hate on like race, sex, whatever, when we're in an entire galaxy full of like millions and millions of planets.
Did you watch Andor?
Yes.
Okay. I did not. I found it boring. I tried to watch it. I got bored.
I really liked Andor.
A lot of people did. So I'm curious because I really like Acolyte, and you saying it's boring is interesting to me because that's how I felt about Andor.
Okay. So if you don't know what Acolyte is, this takes place hundreds of years. When
I don't think it's that far. Maybe like a couple hundred. It's not very far.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not
because
entirely.
You don't know this because you didn't watch the 4th episode.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Oh, because old boy comes back. Yes, yeah. But he's an alien, so we don't know his.
So we don't know. Yeah. But it's not far.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy. I think it said 100 years.
It's not the Old Republic, which is what everyone really wanted.
Yes. So we're only 100 years before episode 1 of of Star Wars. And basically, the Sith are not there anymore. There's been a little rumors here, there, but nobody's really seen any Sith Lord or anything like that.
It's like 700 years of peace or something.
Yes.
Like there's been no war. There's no war in Ba Sing Se.
Yes, exactly. And so now what happens is somebody has killed a Jedi on a planet. And they find this girl who she's just working on a ship, a federal ship. She's just working on there. They interview her and they're like, hey, she used to be in the Jedi program. And they're like, she couldn't have done this. There's no way she did it. But she's about to face the punishment for killing this Jedi because this guy IDs her.
Yeah.
He's like, you look exactly like the girl. Turns out she has a twin. She was supposed to die. Like they saved her from a fire at her planet, and they thought the other twin died. Twin didn't die, and so now the twin is trying to be a Sith Lord and is trying to work underneath a person. We don't know who it is, but clearly they have some Sith background. They know the Force.
You get a glimpse in episode 4 if you deem it worthy of watching.
Oh my God, man! I just haven't watched it. I'm sorry. And so the whole kind of thing is we know who done it, and we're trying to just pace and figure out who is the real mastermind, while still trying to connect the twins of she clearly from episode 3 is crazy. Not going to spoil what happens in episode 3. But you have basically kind of a good twin and a bad twin. But at the same time, they also are from the bad people's perspective of it's what does Jedi, how do the Jedi get to define what is peace? How do they get to define what's good and what's okay? Which is a good question. Because if you think about it, Jedi are the most powerful fucking beings.
They're space wizards who have who up until recently we thought had a complete monopoly on the Force.
Yes, and so all of a sudden, all these other planets, you just have a Jedi stationed at every planet.
Yeah,
which could easily just be you're controlling us. You're just not dicks about it, but you're still kind of controlling every planet and everything like that. So I kind of am getting that kind of perspective. I just wish they kind of would turn the head, and maybe later in the season they do, turn the dial up of maybe the Jedi Order is not that good.
I think that's the point of the whole show.
No, I think that is, but I need them to turn that up.
Fair, but we got to get there first.
Yes.
we gotta tell the story a little. That's the thing, and what I think this show would have really benefited from a drop all at once, because I think what's hurting this show is the weekly release, because every week it gives them another chance to these stands get really mad, and it's almost like they're trying to keep it holy or something. I don't get it.
No, I don't get it. They're Star Wars fans are the craziest fans, I think.
There's just
any fandom.
My thing with Star Wars fans is there's just no pleasing them, because what they said was this is a complete deviation from what we've normally done. This is a complete different story. This doesn't have anything to do with the Skywalker saga. Which is true, and everyone was like, "Yay! This is exactly what we want." And they were like, "Here you go," and they were like, "We hate it."
I think the thing is you can do an entire deviation from the original movies, but you have to keep the same principles. And I think
this show has never had principles.
I understand, but the thing is, and I am not that deep in lore, but there's so much more lore.
Yes.
There's comic books, there's actual books, and they talk about all these different lore kind of things. And so when you're a real fan of Star Wars, my shout out to my friend Brett, he really knows, he understands Star Wars. And so when you just make a show that deviates from these books and deviates from these principles, that's when it's what the hell are we doing?
I don't know. I feel like Star Wars has always done that, though. And given that's probably why Star Wars fans are so like visceral in their reactions, because they're used to this. But I mean, in like the Clone Wars show, there's literally, they go to a planet, Anakin goes to a planet, and there's like this basically immortal space god, and he's like the keeper of the Force, and then he has 2 kids, and Anakin's got to like fight the kid, and then when it comes to like, especially with the new trilogy, but like it was all it. The biggest problem that Star Wars has, it does not have a reliable magic like system.
Yeah, I will agree with that. And I will 100% agree with that.
And with a lot of fantasy, there's a certain set of rules that have to be adhered by.
Yes.
Which is why the Force healing was such a big fucking deal, because where was this all along? This could have helped so many people. It all didn't make any sense. Why did Kylo Ren give all of his life force to Rey at the end and die? Like, what? Like
the new trilogy is so terrible.
It has an unreliable magic system, and that is its biggest downfall. Because at the end of the day, we can call it sci-fi, but it's a fantasy show.
But okay, I will buy a little just back on that. I think it became unreliable once Disney took over.
I don't think it was reliable in the original trilogy. Not like when I say the original, I mean the prequel trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, the prequel?
The prequel trilogy. I don't think it was reliable then, because they started adding in a bunch of midichlorians.
Yeah.
That was added in then.
Random.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the most random part.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, besides that.
Besides that.
Everything else is the exact same.
The entire basis for how the Force is described, these midichlorians, and like, what do you mean besides that? And then also Darth Plagueis the Wise, when he was like, oh, well, he tried to create someone and all that. They added in stuff.
Yeah.
They did. And
they did. No, they did.
And it's always been an add-on. And so I don't get why everyone acts like surprised whenever Star Wars does add on. Even in the video games. Like Jedi Survivor, they had the witches in that.
Crazy. Video games go crazy. I just think that like I really think just timeline wise, they kind of fucked up.
I don't think they should have done it this close to the.
You did 4, 5, and 6. Then we go back to 1, 2, and 3. We change some things. Then we just randomly skip all the way ahead back to 7, 8, 9 and change a lot more things. Then we go all the way back and even change more stuff. That's where I just think that like the problem with Star Wars right now is just like how inconsistent they are.
Yes.
And I also think the writing for this show, I think the writing for there's some couple episodes of Andor that are boring. I'll definitely give you that. I'll give you that. Like the fall off of Mandalorian, I thought season 3 was kind of just That like I'm feeling season 3 Mandalorian right now, in the Acolyte. Ahsoka was good. I enjoyed Ahsoka.
I think a lot of people also didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. I liked the Book of Boba Fett. See, here we are. I liked the bad stuff.
I liked it, but it just the thing is, Boba Fett was a badass. Boba Fett was this guy, like he was the bounty hunter of the fucking universe, and like. He just never felt that way, and that's why people didn't really care for the Book of Boba Fett, because it just made the stock of Boba Fett go down.
Because you got old. Grow up. That's so weird to me. That's to me that is such a childish reason, because. Yeah, he got older. What did you expect? And he was still out there zooming on his little jetpack, shooting at people.
I need him to be a fucking...
He wasn't in that much of the original movies.
He wasn't.
Like, that's what I'm like, what are we basing...
there's people who are like... But there's people who are obsessed with Boba
But then
Fett.
he ran off and got eaten. Like, he was not in the movies that much. And like, I guess if you're like really into the books and comics, maybe...
Yes.
It's really exciting for you. But like... What did you expect when he got older? He's still a human being, and he doesn't have the Force.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think the problem with Star Wars right now is kind of the inconsistency.
It's just unreliable.
It's unreliable. I don't know what I'm getting from one season to another, one show from another, and I feel like that's the same kind of thing of like the MCU's kind of falling under. It's just like it just doesn't feel consistent.
It feels like I'm on a ship without a captain.
Yes.
And even with, because I'm trying to understand. Here's my like thing about it all and why I'm like okay with it is like all I understood it was like these people just learned how to use the Force in a different way, and I was like fine. Apparently everyone was not happy with that, and
because it just undermines who Anakin is. Like it just undermines.
I'm sorry, your little space Nazi is not as special anymore.
And that's the thing. He is supposed to be the chosen one. He's supposed to be the one that's supposed to bridge the Force.
But he never did.
Yes, he did. At the end, he's the one. Luke was about to die. Luke was about to die for the Emperor. He's the one who stopped the Emperor.
And then the Emperor came back.
Which is why.
You see what I'm saying?
God. I hate Star Wars.
But I hate Star Wars. But like that's what I'm saying. I was like, it never made sense.
Yep.
It never so the fact that we're trying to make it make sense now seems silly to me, guys. It's a kids show about space wizards. Let's just like I don't know, be happy. If you have a problem with the writing, if you have a problem with
what'd you rate it?
I would rate it a good 6.
6.
It's okay. It's good.
An okay show. Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's like serviceable. Will I like be clamoring back for a rewatch? Probably not, unless the Star Wars fights get cooler, because they're like slowly getting cooler and they're like slowly adding more lightsabers.
Is episode 4 a lot more action?
Yes.
Okay, good, because like there's not really any action.
No, it hasn't been, and that's what it's been very like centralized and like. You see at least 10 lightsabers at once.
Okay. All right.
And so that was exciting.
Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully. That was terrible, wasn't it?
That was great.
Thank you. Awesome.
Do it again.
All right. So this is going to be our weekly recap of House of the Dragon season 2. We are huge Game of Thrones fans.
Yes.
So the first thing I actually want to ask you, Joe, what did you think about the intro? The new intro that they did.
You know, I wasn't mad at it. I kind of liked it. I know Stitch Talk is gonna go crazy for that one. I was fine with it. I kind of missed the castles and stuff. Right?
I wish they just show what the tapestry looked like at the very end.
Yeah,
that was my only thing. Because I thought it was cool. I thought it was awesome.
It was a great way to tell the story.
But I just wish they just showed like the whole thing at the end. But I do. Hey, shout out to those designers for making that. You know, that takes work. Okay, let's get into it. Our boy's dead.
Yeah, baby boy.
He's gotten eaten. But we visit the Starks.
Everyone, when the Stark music started playing and I saw that white, I was like, it is 98 degrees and like 100% humidity, but I just want to put on fur right now.
Yes.
I was like, I
love people were like, hey, Stark's always got that drip.
My only king is the king of the North. God damn it.
Yeah, but I thought that was a interesting way to like just involve them back into the mix. Because again, we all know like the Starks aren't really necessary in the story at all.
I'm like 90% sure that I think who was the Stark who he was talking to? Jace. Do we know? I'm sure somebody knows. We just didn't look it up beforehand.
Yeah, we did not look up beforehand.
Either ways, I'm pretty sure that Stark boy and Jace are going to bang, and I'm just going to call that now. I could be wrong, but they were giving each other eyes the whole time.
That's your fantasy.
That is all of gay Twitter's fantasy, because I'm not alone in this thought. My phone, the people in my phone. The people in my phone were talking to me, and they told me I was correct.
Oh, my God. But I think them showing that way of like, hey, you hear your brother's dead through a raven. Same thing with Rhaenyra. And so like let's go into Rhaenyra's like kind of like character in this episode. I thought it was perfect.
Yes.
Like a perfect way of a mother who's just lost their son. Of like, sometimes you just need to see the body.
Yeah.
And like she's scouring everywhere trying to find her son and trying to do what she can just to find just a glimpse. I didn't know that her dragon, that's also her dragon's son too.
Yeah, so the dragon was mourning as well because it was both of their sons.
Yes, so that is very, it shows just a light of like how like these things do affect these kind of people. It's not just hey, my son died, oh, we're going to war. That was never just she did need that time to grieve, that time to like feel that.
Well, and we got to see a little bit, because of that, we got to see a little bit more of the characters, speaking specifically the exchange between Daemon and Rhaenys, them kind of getting into it. First of all, we saw a new side of Rhaenys that I hadn't got to see.
Liked it.
A little bit softer, but also like putting her fucking foot down. She's like,
loved it.
By the way, you are not my king. I am here for Queen Rhaenyra, and her son just died. And as somebody who knows what that's like, fuck you, Daemon, and kind of put him in his place a little bit. And I kind of liked it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm still like, Daemon, you do what you need to do.
Yeah, Daemon can commit his war crimes and it's fine. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone did anything wrong in this episode except Alicent Hightower and Ser Criston Cole. Fuck you both. Hypocrites to the nth degree. Their whole thing was that they were morally superior than Rhaenyra. That was their whole thing.
First scene, we just see him eating the box, just going to town on that low tower.
And then, does she have a low tower?
I don't know. It's not high anymore.
But I mean, my thing is like, he was like, you want me to be your whore? And he ended up being some queen's whore.
Yeah.
So at the end
100%.
of it, like, that pissed me off. And then the fact that he still has this chip on his shoulder. He's like, she's a dirty little snake, a lying, conniving, all these, calls her every name in the book. Meanwhile, you're eating out her best friend, who she probably actually does love.
Yeah, because like when they go to the all the kings,
the council or whatever.
The council, all the king's advisors, you can still tell that like she still does have that soft spot for Rhaenyra, and like all she wants to do is like, hey, we got the throne. I still want peace.
Yeah,
I want peace to the end of all this, and I do think that is the driving force of her character. Is like, no, she's not the good person. But she's not Criston Cole. Like she's not him.
No.
But she still does, like, she won, and she's ready to end it and bring the rest of them home safely. While her dad is like, fuck them, and like he understands how this is going to play out. And I think that difference is going to affect their relationship.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the weird guy with the foot fetish this season. He's being a conniving little snake.
Yeah.
And I'm living for it. I honestly did not like him much in the first season. This episode, I don't know what it is. A switch flipped in me. But
what did you, in the past year and a half, you gained a foot fetish?
No, I don't have a foot fetish.
It's okay if you do.
No, I can say that I can say with absolute certainty I do not have a foot fetish. But the guy who has a foot fetish, I have a softer spot for now. And I don't know what it is. Even though he's probably gonna betray like 50 people, and that's why. I'm like, oh, maybe he is gonna be a good guy. Maybe he's gonna do what? And it's gonna be awful.
So going back to the King's Advisors, I think the number one thing I loved about this episode is Aegon, the king. I think
not my king.
I think what they just done with his character has made him more funny, made him realize of like, oh, I'm king now. I guess I can do whatever I want. And then when Otto is telling him, he's like, yeah, you can have your sheep.
He's like, but he's came all this way. I cracked my shit up. He's like, can we just like let him have his sheep? He came all this way.
He's like, no, they will all know.
He's like, no, we have to, because we need to feed the dragons. And it's like, and you're sitting there and you can see him like really see. He's like, oh, this is what it means to be king.
Because he brought his son into the council because his dad never did that for him.
No.
And so he has never been in those kind of positions, in those situations, to understand what it takes to be a king.
Yep.
And so now that he's in that role, he thinks, oh, I could just make this and this. But he truly doesn't understand the weight of what his word is, the weight of what he does. He just thinks now I can go kill or do whatever I want as long as I got this dragon. But he doesn't understand there's way more to be a king than just being powerful.
Yes.
And so I actually really liked what they did with his character of kind of making him a little funny, a little bit of a gag here and there. Him being drunk on the throne. I thought that was a great touch.
I think they really did. The writing and just how they paced this show is incredible. Here's the thing. The reason he was never brought in is because he was never supposed to be king. You know who was brought into all the meetings and got to see the Rhaenyra.
Ray.
Crazy how that happened. And we're fighting about this. Go fuck yourself, Aegon. I love you, though. You are a great character, and I am enjoying you thoroughly.
Yeah, no. So we could talk about Daemon.
He was kind of a throwaway this episode, I feel like.
He's going to get a lot more screen
I
time,
know
though.
he is, but like, I just felt like we were kind of like, we're getting to it. Like,
and so I think that's the thing about Daemon's character, because once when he found out that his son is not his son, but Rhaenyra's son's dead, he's like, let's fucking go right now with 2 dragons and just go. And like that hot-headedness.
Yeah.
I'm glad Rhaenyra is there to put him in check, because he does need that.
Yeah.
Because I think just the only way he knows how to grieve is just to fight and fight and fight and fight.
Well, and that's the thing, is that was always his thing. He was the second son. He was never, I do find it interesting. Right now in media in general, we're getting a lot of these second son storylines that are very pervasive. I don't know what's going on with Hollywood and all that. Everyone just discovered it. But what it means to them. And then him, I'm curious to see, because like, if Rhaenyra comes out on top, I know how this ends. We don't have to get into it. If Rhaenyra comes out on top, he would be king for all intents and purposes, a king consort maybe, but
yeah. So, but I think the most powerful scene in this episode was when Rhaenyra comes back and is silence, and her and Daemon have that quick little interaction, and then you see the fire from the table and everything like that. She's behind this fire, and all she says is just like, I want Aemon Targaryen dead. And I love that.
Hell yeah. Because everyone's like, what is she going to do? Is she going to be a but everyone was worried. They're like, is she going to go crazy? Is she going to do that? She came in calm, cool, and collected. There was not an overwhelming, like, you could not call this woman emotional by any means of the imagination.
No.
She walked in and just said, I want his head. Art.
No, yeah, beautiful art. Let's talk about actually Aemon, though. I feel like Aemon thought that he did nothing really wrong.
I think Aemon is an actual like war criminal, and he's crazy. Like, that's his whole thing. But he's been.
And then him and Cole get together, and they're having a drink together and stuff like that. And like his whole purpose is saying, I will do anything for my house and for my king. And I really do think that.
Yeah.
Like, that's why Aegon was like, my brother is loyal to me.
Well, part of me, I don't trust Aemon. I think that he's going to try some shit with Aegon. Everyone's like, oh, he's so loyal. And they're really playing that up. So
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just making
and
especially conjecture.
Especially what happens at the end. So Damon going. I love the Kermit meme
when he puts on his little hood. When he puts on his little hood, he's like, "I'm gonna go commit crimes now."
I'm just okay. So like him giving the, "Hey, I heard you don't like the high towers." Fuck the high towers. I was like, God damn. So in the show, they don't say their names, but Blood and Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Love. First of all, great titles.
Yep.
Have you seen how it happened in the book?
Yes.
Okay.
I've watched.
What do you think?
I liked the way they did it in the show better. I did.
Huh.
It's a hot take.
I think I don't think it's hot, but I do enjoy the book a little bit more.
Why is that?
So what happens is Blood and Cheese get paid by Damon to go and take Aemon's head.
Yep.
And these two are fucking morons. And all they understand is what Damon said at the end, a son for a son. Which, great title, by the way, for an episode. Great title. And so they go in and they see the queen, who I actually is like my top 3 character, actually. Because I saw a compilation of like all the shit she has said.
Yeah.
Because she is batshit crazy. But
no, everything's psychic.
Everything happens single time.
She's got that. I think I saw multiple things. Like it could be a Valerian thing. It could be this. But yeah, Helena's got something going on.
Yeah. Because at the beginning he was like, "What are you scared of?" And she's like, "The rats." And so
I knew.
The rat catcher comes up, and in this show, Aegon only has twins.
Yeah,
has a twin boy and girl. And they straight up ask her which one is which. And she points to the girl, and they say, "Fuck no, and this one's the boy." And then the stabbing noises.
Okay, but I think that was in the
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. She was right. You're right.
No, she pointed
straight up.
She pointed to the right one. And the guy said, "Oh, she's lying." And he
like,
goes,
"No,
no, she's telling the truth." And then, okay, also, you sick fucks out there on the internet, hey, we didn't need to see a 4-year-old's head get chopped off. I don't know why you think you needed to see it. The sounds were far more than enough.
The sound. I was like, God damn.
These motherfuckers on Twitter be like, "No, I needed to see it."
No,
fuck you,
I don't
gross,
need to see
weird.
that.
Get off that weird shit. Go touch grass.
But I do like the... So they took out. So in the book, Aegon has a third child who's the youngest boy, and they took that character completely out.
Yeah.
So that changes the entire dynamic of this world now, because if Aegon dies in House of Dragons, Aemon becomes king. So I think that forces that tension.
Yeah.
Where earlier you were saying you're like, "Oh, he's so loyal," but now it's just like, I could kill the king and then I become king.
And who's leading all the armies? Who's in charge of all that shit? We've seen this before.
I have the dragon.
That's how the rebellion happened with Jaime Lannister.
So I do see that play. I like the fact, however, of just like, because in the book, they Blood and Cheese are like, which son is it?
Okay,
and she chooses the young son.
Yeah,
and then Cheese is like, "I want you to know that your mother wanted you dead," and then they chop off the older one.
Yep.
And so the thing that happens is, because she's not crazy in the books.
No, she's normal and level-headed.
But what fucks her in the head is the thought of now she has to live with her son that she chose to die. And then that fucks with her entire character arc. But if the purpose of leaving him out is to see that Aemon and Aegon tension, I'm okay with that.
I also think that there's a portion of it where they talk about the fact I don't remember where I saw this, where I read this, but the reason there's no guards, the reason there's nobody's around is because Alicent and Kriston sent them away, so they could go do their. So they could do.
Okay, that was the craziest scene. Just imagine. Okay, I'm walking with my fucking child, and I'm just gonna sit down, and you just see them fucking.
She was in complete shock. She had no idea what was going on. She was already a little crazy, and then she's like, I need to find my mom.
Yes.
Like that's the first. She's like, I gotta go find my mom, and mom is just riding that mechanical bull. Like
after at the very beginning of the episode. We are not going to do this again. We're never going to do this again.
Yeah, fuck you, you hypocrites.
Fuck both of you.
It makes me so mad. Honestly, just fuck and go away and leave everyone alone. Yeah, God, or just admit that you both love Rhaenyra. I saw this one tweet that said, "What if Alicent and Kriston put on a silver wig? Whoever says Rhaenyra's name first loses." I was like,
yeah. But tell us what you guys think about the episode. I think this is a great start-off episode because this is what leads to all the chaos that's about to ensue.
And what just a good first episode of a season.
Yes.
It set up so much. It gave us some like clarity from where we left off last time. It just honestly snaps all around.
Yeah, I would rate this episode a solid 9.
There really wasn't that much dragons in it.
No.
Like it was.
But it's a perfect setup episode with a cliffhanger at the end.
This thing, we know we're going to get more dragons.
Yeah,
we're gonna get
some good dragons. I give it a solid 9, 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah. So, you guys, tell us what you guys thought about this first episode of House of Dragons. Did we miss anything that's super important to you? And what do you guys think is going to happen for the rest of the season? Let us know in the comments. But that's going to wrap up our show. I'm your host, Jordan.
And I'm Joe.
And this is Double Trouble Features!